What's poppin', people? SSJAipom here with episode 18 of the Super Attack Analysis series. If you're new to the series, this is where we check out various mentor skills or iconic super attacks from parallel quests. These aren't skill tests or comparisons of skills, just some notable features or uses of the super attacks in combat. Of course, if you know any information we might have missed, share it with us in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's get into the video. As always, we'll be using the female Saiyan Potan for testing purposes. Her stats aren't at all padded for damage in these tests, but as you know by now, she's spec'd for thickness. This series is to show you guys useful ways to link into or use or unlock super attacks if they're on your custom created character or the cast characters that might have them. We'll be checking out Raditz's mentor skills in this clip. Probably the single most shit just got real character in Dragonball Z in terms of what he signified on the show. I'll be going over Double Sunday, Saturday Crash, Shining Friday, Weekend, and Vacation Delete. What is Raditz? Why does he? What's with all the days? What's up with the days, Raditz? Why is that a thing? Double Sunday is a Ki Blast super that fires 2 ranged beams towards your target after a small delay. The advanced mechanic activates by flicking or holding direction away from your opponent while firing this move. The 2 beams will create a V formation and attempt to cage in your target. The closer you are to the enemy, the greater chance you have of hitting them when they try to sidestep out of it when you use the advanced mechanic. In terms of beam supers, there are of course others that fly a bit faster or activate quicker, but the added fun of the advanced mechanic gives you a few options for getting creative and close to your opponent, I guess. In team battles or matches where more than one enemy is grouped up, I can imagine this being a nice way to stall or pin them down even if it's only for a second. This one's a fine move from Raditz. Just remember that there are other options for sure from other mentors or characters, so if you're going for like maybe a pink attack theme or something like that, I guess this would be, you know, something you can go for outside of like Gallic Gun, but there are some others, You know my what?
Guard wasn't tight enough. You think you know my moves? Well, I've got more than you think. You think you know my moves? Well, I've got more than you think. You think you know my you think? Impossible. You think you know my moves? Impossible. Guard wasn't tight enough. You think you know my moves? Well, I've got more than you think! You think you know my—
Saturday Crash fires a slow-moving Ki Blast with tracking on it. The blast will travel pretty far, and on contact, it'll stun the opponent for a little over a second or so. The stun isn't long enough to capitalize on it from a long distance, but up close it's a wonderful way to reset your combos and get your opponent to panic vanish. At second glance, the move travels fast enough to toss out before rushing in on your enemy like a lot of other area denial skills. It's a pretty good option. If it does hit your enemy as of right now, they can't snap vanish out of it, and I'd recommend going for it after a warp in your combo to get your opponent to panic vanish while you're still getting their stamina down. This skill works with heavy knockdowns perfectly, so if you like to restand the enemy after a heavy knockdown, this is always an option too. It doesn't do too much damage though, guys, so if you wanted to sacrifice damage on your moveset or preset, this is of course an option you can go for. Remember that resets are really good in your combos to get some more damage out and to kind of chip away your opponent before that stamina break or to get them down to stamina break range, so that's always a thing. I really do like the idea of a like paralyzing blast though. I guess this one's okay.
You think you know my moves? Well, I've got more. You think you know my moves? Well, I've got more than you think. You think you know my moves? What? You think you know my moves? What? You think you know my moves? Well, I've got more than you. It's over. It's over. Got more than you think! You think you know my moves? Well, I've got more than you think! You think you know my moves? Well, I've got more than you think! You think you know my moves? Well, I've got—
Shining Friday creates a purple sphere in front of the user that has a lot of neat properties. For starters, it will shred anything it comes into contact with, including players, and does some respectable damage before knocking them away. The advanced mechanic lets you hold the move down for a longer period of time. I should note that the shred will only last for 12 hits on the hit counter regardless of how long you hold it. This is because the skill can also be used as a defense against Ki Blast supers or even ultimates. Any key attack that bumps into the skill is blocked partially if not all the way. You would hold the button down like to basically prepare for the attack, if dodging wasn't an option for you, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to dodge anyway, but it does look stylish as hell when it does work. The best way to combo into this skill is, of course, after heavy knockback strings, not knockback strings, my bad, heavy attack strings, combos that juggle the opponent, or after your warp combos. The damage on this skill by default is good enough for me to even like recommend using stamina to extend knockback combos just to get this thing off. So I guess that would be when you use it after knockback combos. You get the gist. It's really good though. After a few times of using it in a fight, your enemy will be scared enough to like panic out of any warp attacks you do, just because it's like, I don't want to get hit by that extra 2,000 damage. So I gotta say, guys, Shining Friday is, it sounds like a dope album, but it's actually a really good move. In the comment section below, who do you think would drop something called Shining Friday as an album? That's my little insider for you guys.
You know my moves? Well, I've got more than you think! You think you know my moves? Well, I've got more than you think! You think you know my...
Weekend is probably the evolved form of Double Sunday. Instead of a single attack, the beams will deal multiple hits on a target that actually do respectable damage. During the startup animation, you can flick the analog stick away from your target to split the beam into 2 beams, much like Double Sunday. There are a few things to note, of course. You deal less damage the further you are from your target, and the splitting beams do not like decrease any outgoing damage from the attack. The biggest downside is the cast time for sure. Your character does this like evil laugh thing, or like a little smirk, or like, something like that before firing it. And it means the skill is almost exclusively to be used after a stamina break for safety, but it's fast enough to hit a heavy knockdown target as well if you do activate the heavy knockdown close enough to the floor. If you have the Super Soul Gotcha, you can also combo directly into this ultimate after a charged Ki Blast, or a few other ultimates, like if that's it. Don't tell anyone that I told you guys that. Stop it.
Tight enough.
Vacation Delete is a direct upgrade of Saturday Crash. You'll fire a Ki Blast that will detonate when it comes near the enemy at all. The explosion paralyzes the enemy for a fairly long time, and if you're close enough, you can actually stamina break your enemy. Try using this move as your enemy is coming back from their stamina break if you couldn't get the job done. The mental pressure that this thing can put on the enemy is insane. It's actually very intimidating when they have to stand there paralyzed for a couple of seconds. It can be used after heavy knockdowns as well. Just remember that the skill sacrifices the range that Saturday Crash does, so you kind of, it's like a little, it'll actually detonate from like a fair distance away and, paralyze the enemy. And online, it kind of acts goofy, so they can't see like the explosion hitting them or whatever. It's really weird, but it's very effective as well after heavy knockdowns or when stamina breaks are going to be over. So think about that when you're going to use something like this. It's really good. I would recommend using a heavy knockdown combo if you have one, to knock the opponent on the floor as the stamina is like going to come back, so they don't do like a recovery roll, and then just throwing this thing down so they're just stuck now. Like it's really, really good. I gotta say, this is probably one of Raditz's most useful moves in terms of a lockdown sort of playstyle of pressure like that. So think about that if you'd like to go over something this way. I might use it on a area denial character just for the sake of like, get away from me. It's nice though. I like it. With all of the skill analysis out of the way, the only thing we have left to do is to test them out against Raditz. Hopefully he uses them in a way that I didn't think of, that's why I usually test against computers. But anyway, Shining Friday is a fucking incredible move, guys. This is definitely one of my favorites out of this mentor skills list, or skill set, I should say. And using it after warp combos or mid juggle just feels so satisfying because the damage you get out of it is really, really good. I didn't need to go into either ultimate attack, but I had a couple opportunities to do so, looking back at the footage. But it's okay. Of course, if you haven't though, check out the other videos on the channel. We have skill breakdowns, much like this one, for other mentors, combo references and notations for all playable custom races and cast characters, extensive stamina break combo videos, and general tips to bring you guys above average in terms of skill level. Is there a mentor or iconic character skill you'd like me to cover next? Let me know in the comment section below. But that's going to be it from me, and I hope you all enjoy the video, and I see you in the very next video. And enjoy the twerking and take care of yourselves. And if you guys must know, I actually do try to tell Potan some of your messages, because she is a very, very open-minded lady, and some of you guys have expressed your concerns with her thickness. So we're gonna see how that works out a little bit after the twerking segment. But take care of yourselves, guys.
I guess I won.
Poton. A couple of subscribers were saying that you were thick.
What?
No, yeah, thick. Like
What?